Iran is one of the oldest civilizations on Earth, yet most people know it only from the last 50 years. Before the Islamic Revolution, before the Shah, before the oil fields, there was Persia, an empire so vast it stretched from Greece to India. A civilization that gave the world its first human rights charter, its first postal system, and one of its most sophisticated imperial bureaucracies. From Cyrus the Great to the Achaemenid Empire, from Alexander's conquest to the Safavid Golden Age, from Qajar decline to the 1979 revolution, this story runs deeper than most people ever get to see. This is the entire history of Iran. Around 7000 BC, the Iranian plateau holds some of the earliest farming settlements in the ancient world. The landscape is high, dry, and vast, a rugged plateau ringed by mountain ranges, cut through by river valleys where soil is fertile enough to sustain life. Early communities in places like Susa and Jiroft build mud brick homes, raise livestock, and plant the first seeds of what will become Persian civilization. But what grew from those early settlements would eventually shake the entire ancient world. By around 3200 BC, Susa in southwestern Iran has become one of the most advanced urban centers of its time. The image here shows a dense city of mud brick architecture rising from the flat Khuzestan plain, its streets laid in deliberate order, its temple platform visible from a distance. Craftsmen in Susa produce pottery, metalwork, and proto-writing tablets that rival anything being produced in Mesopotamia across the border. Susa does not exist in isolation. It trades, competes, and connects with the great civilizations surrounding it. Around 550 BC, Cyrus the Great unifies the Persian tribes and founds the Achaemenid Empire. The image shows Cyrus at Pasargadae, the first Persian capital, simple stone columns, rising from a flat plain, the air dry and bright. Cyrus moves fast. He defeats the Median Empire, then Lydia, then Babylon, all within a decade. When he captures Babylon in 539 BC, he issues the Cyrus Cylinder, a clay document declaring freedom of religion and the right of displaced peoples to return home. Many historians call it the world's first human rights charter. The consequences of Cyrus's decisions in 539 BC are still debated in international law today. Darius the Great expands the Achaemenid Empire to its greatest extent around 500 BC. The image shows the ceremonial capital of Persepolis taking shape on a stone terrace in the Fars region. Massive staircases carved with delegations from every corner of the empire bringing tribute. Darius builds roads connecting Sardis in modern Turkey to Susa in Iran, standardizes weights and measures, and establishes a postal relay system that moves messages thousands of miles in days. At its peak, the Achaemenid Empire controls around 44% of the world's population. No empire that size escapes a serious challenge. Greece provides it. What most people never learn is how close Persia came to crushing Greek civilization entirely. Xerxes I, son of Darius, leads a massive invasion of Greece in 480 BC. His forces burn Athens. The image shows Persian soldiers marching through the ruins of the Acropolis, smoke still rising from the temples above the city. But the Greek city-states hold at Salamis, where the Persian fleet is destroyed in a narrow channel. Xerxes withdraws. The invasion fails. The Achaemenid Empire survives, but its westward expansion is finished. Alexander the Great ends the Achaemenid Empire in 330 BC. He defeats Darius III at the Battle of Gaugamela, marches into Persepolis, and burns the Great Palace complex, an act historians still argue about. The image shows Persepolis in flames against the night sky, its carved stone reliefs still visible through the smoke. Alexander's conquest does not erase Persian culture. Greek and Persian elements blend into a Hellenistic fusion that shapes the region for generations. In less than 3 years, the greatest empire the ancient world had seen was gone. The Parthian Empire rises around 247 BC, pushing Greek successors out and re-establishing Iranian rule across the plateau. The Parthians fight Rome to a standstill for 3 centuries. At the Battle of Carrhae in 53 BC, Parthian general Sharena destroys 7 Roman legions under Marcus Crassus, one of Rome's worst military disasters. Their famous backward shot catching Roman infantry completely unprepared. The Sassanid Empire replaces the Parthians in 224 AD and immediately signals a new ambition. Ardashir I defeats the last Parthian king and establishes a dynasty that will rule Iran for over 4 centuries. The image shows the Sassanid capital Ctesiphon on the banks of the Tigris, the Tak Kasra Arch, the largest single-span brick vault in the ancient world. Rising above the river plain, Zoroastrianism becomes the state religion. Art, architecture, and philosophy flourish. The Sassanids see themselves as the heirs of Achaemenid greatness, and they build accordingly. Without the Safavid Empire, the Islamic world that followed would have looked completely different. In 636 AD, Arab Muslim forces defeat the Sassanid army at the Battle of Al-Qadisiyah. The image shows Arab cavalry advancing across the flat Mesopotamian plain towards Sassanid war elephants and infantry, a clash between a new rising power and a civilization at the end of its strength. The Sassanid Empire collapses within a decade. Iran converts to Islam, but not passively. Persian culture, language, and intellectual tradition absorb and reshape Islam from within, producing some of the greatest philosophers, poets, and scientists of the medieval world. By the 9th and 10th centuries, Iran under Abbasid and then regional Persian dynasties becomes the intellectual center of the Islamic world. The image shows a library in Nishapur, scholars bent over manuscripts, ink and candlelight, shelves stacked with texts on mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and poetry. Avicenna, born in 980 AD near Bukhara, writes the Canon of Medicine, a medical encyclopedia that remains a standard text in European universities for 6 centuries. What came out of Iran between the 9th and 12th centuries shaped science and medicine across the entire world. The Mongols end that golden age with devastating completeness. Genghis Khan's forces invade Iran beginning in 1219 AD. City after city is razed. Nishapur, Merv, and Balkh, some of the most sophisticated urban centers in the world, are reduced to rubble. Millions die. Irrigation systems that took centuries to build are destroyed in weeks. The image shows Nishapur after the Mongol passage, flat ash where streets once stood, nothing rising above knee height in any direction. Iran rebuilds, as it always does. The Safavid Empire rises in 1501 under Shah Ismail I, unifying Iran under Shia Islam for the first time and establishing boundaries that roughly match modern Iran today. The image shows Isfahan under Shah Abbas I in the early 1600s, the grand Naksh-e-Jahan Square stretching before the Imam Mosque, its blue-tiled dome reflecting late afternoon light, traders and courtiers moving across its vast open space. Isfahan under the Safavids is one of the most beautiful cities on earth. The Naksh-e-Jahan Square Shah Abbas built in Isfahan still stands today, largely unchanged. The Qajar dynasty rules Iran through the 19th century, and it is a dynasty under relentless external pressure. Britain and Russia compete for influence over Iranian territory and resources. The image shows Qajar courtiers in Tehran, dressed in a hybrid of Persian tradition and European fashion, a dynasty trying to modernize while losing ground to foreign interference. Iran is forced to cede territory to Russia in 1813 and 1828. Britain manipulates its economy. The oil concession granted to the British in 1901 strips Iran of control over its own resources for half a century. Mohammad Mossadegh, elected prime minister in 1951, nationalizes Iranian oil. The image shows crowds in Tehran celebrating in the streets, flags waving the moment carrying the full weight of a nation reclaiming what was taken. Britain and the United States respond by orchestrating a coup in 1953, removing Mossadegh from power and reinstating Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. That coup does not end the story, it plants the seeds of everything that follows. In 1979, mass protests bring down the Shah. Ayatollah Khomeini returns from exile and establishes the Islamic Republic of Iran. The image shows Tehran in January 1979, millions in the streets, a revolution moving faster than anyone predicted, a country choosing a direction that will define it for the next half-century and beyond. Iran has survived invasion, occupation, colonial exploitation, and revolution. It outlasted the Greeks, the Arabs, the Mongols, and the British. Every conqueror reshaped it. None erased it. From Cyrus the Great's clay cylinder to the streets of modern Tehran, Iran remains one of history's most enduring civilizations. If you enjoy seeing history come alive, hit subscribe and tell us which civilization we cover next. See you on the next one.